The number one reason why most businesses fail with cold email is simply because they don't know how to do it properly. Which is why in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you 7 cold email tips I wish I knew earlier. These 7 tips are the things I wish I knew when I was starting out with cold email that would have made my life 1,000 times easier. So if you wanna see exactly what those things are and book more meetings with cold email, then make sure you watch the end of this video. Let's get right into it. Tip number 1, personalization. Personalization is the key to getting more responses. You wanna address your leads by their name. Personalize the email specific to the business. So talk about the industry they're in, some relevant keywords, or even write the company name as its own variable. And you also want to make it relevant to your clients. For an example, if you're an e-commerce brand, a lot of e-commerce brands need email marketing. So you want to go ahead and offer them email marketing, right? It's relevant. You can use tools like Clay to make your emails personalized at scale. If you don't personalize your emails, you'll have a much harder time scaling with cold email. Tip number 2, subject lines. Subject lines are more important than people think. If your subject line isn't good, no one will open your emails. Your subject lines should be relevant and it should trigger some sort of curiosity. A good way to think of this is it has to look like an internal email. So this would be something like what an employee, because if we're emailing like CEOs, founders, owners, it has to look like it's coming from an employee or from a customer. That way these CEOs, owners, and founders are actually going to open the email. And it's very important that you constantly A/B test these subject lines. You want to do that until you find one that is hitting your KPIs. In terms of what are the best subject lines for cold email, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. So keep it to under 3 words, include the first name or the company name of the person you're targeting. And as soon as you find something that works, there's no point putting a lot of your effort into it because you don't want to reinvent the wheel. The best examples for great subject lines are something like quick question, first name, thoughts, or if you're selling like Facebook ads, you do something like ads, question mark, first name, anything along those lines. You don't want to think about it too much because it doesn't really move the needle forward as much as the next thing I'm about to go through. Tip number 3 is email copy. Your email copy is what needs to convert prospects to booked meetings. The most important part of your email copy is your offer. You need to have a no-brainer offer that people would feel stupid saying no to. And you must include a clear call to action. Speaking of call to actions, try stay away from the book a call to action because everyone and their mother does that. It's such an oversaturated method. Everyone knows it's a sales call. So instead, opt in for a permission-based call to action where you basically ask permission to either send them a sales asset like a case study or a training video, or to offer some sort of free work. Next thing is you don't want to make your cold email sound stupid. Like literally ask the question to yourself. As soon as you write your first email copy, read it out, say it out loud, and ask yourself, does this sound stupid? If there's any doubt whatsoever, you need to change something up. You want to also avoid fancy names like the 3-pronged pyramid approach or the automatic AI appointment funnel. Like everyone sees through that BS. You're emailing to business owners. They know what it is. It's probably just simple Facebook ads or like just using appointment setters if we're using the automatic AI appointment funnel as an example. So try to stay away from that. Next is you want to write it in 5th grade English. So you want to make sure that when you send out cold emails, like a 5th grader could understand what you're offering. Anything more complex than that, then chances are it doesn't sound as personalized and it just seems so salesy and markety. You also want to remove the fluff. So anything that is irrelevant, just don't put it in the email. If they wanted to search it up, they would search you up. Something you want to do is also make sure that each sentence is in its own paragraph. So no big blocks of text. This way it's a lot easier to read, especially on mobile view. You want to keep it at an absolute maximum of 75 words. A good saying that I always use with my team is less is more. Ideally, you want 50 words or less. 4 to 5 sentences maximum. And lastly, you also want to use the same language as your target market. So if you're targeting something like e-commerce brands, then some common used language would be CPC or cost per click, or like AOV, which is average order value. You should be always A/B testing your cold email copy until you get a solid response rate. Now, with all that info about how to write cold email copy, here is a great example. Hey John, is it cool if I make Facebook ad creatives for Nike, which was the same ad creative style we used for Adidas to get them a 10x ROAS in 7 days? Thanks, Mateo from Sports Marketing. Reply if you want to stop receiving these emails. Tip number 4 is warm up emails. If you don't warm up your emails, you're going to have a really bad deliverability and you're going to end up landing in spam most of the time. Before you start sending high volume cold email, you need to make sure that your accounts are warmed up. Use tools like smartly.ai, which have their built-in warm up feature. To make things easier, just please copy and paste these exact settings that I've done hundreds of tests, and this is the best I've come across. Warm up for at least 14 days before launching any campaign. Send 30 to 40 warm-ups within the first 2 weeks. Daily ramp up by 4 with a 60% reply rate. After this 2-week period, you want to go ahead and launch your campaigns. Now, we still want to be keeping warm-up on 24/7, so you'll need to change your settings for the best deliverability practices. And you want to send 15 to 20 warm-ups with an 80% reply rate. Tip number 5 is follow-ups. Most people aren't going to respond to you after the first email. That's why it's important that you're consistently following up. Make sure you follow up 1 to 2 times after your initial email if the lead hasn't responded. And you want to delay the follow-ups by 4 to 5 days. Make sure these follow-up emails bump up the initial email, and when you can, provide some sort of value as well. This can be like a case study or any other social proof. You can also rewrite your offer with a different angle that may resonate better with your leads so that there's a better chance of them responding. If you are following up with someone who has already replied, you want to have a 1 to 2 day time delay. Follow up relentlessly until you get a yes or a no. And a great way to do this is through automated subsequences. You don't have to manually follow up with people anymore. You can just put them into an automated subsequence that will follow up for you automatically based on the reply you get. Have a subsequence for each of the following categories: interested, meeting request, information request, out of office, bump. Tip number 6, track your data. If you aren't constantly tracking your cold email data, then it is impossible to find out whether what you're doing is working or not. Before I get into that, I need to tell you what you shouldn't track, and you should definitely never track open rate or click-through rate. Controversial, right? But this hurts your deliverability more than anything. Cold email deliverability is harder than it ever was now in 2024, and it's very crucial that you don't track open rate or click-through rate, because what actually happens is when you track open rates, as an example, there'll be like a tiny pixel installed into your emails that acts like a link, and if it gets viewed, then that's how they track the open rates, and it just messes up your deliverability. So as I said earlier, we want to keep it plain text only, no HTML. Okay, so now what you need to track is reply rate, positive reply rate, meeting booked rate, show rate, percentage of qualified leads, show rate to the second call, show rate to the follow-up call, and close rate. But the most important KPIs are email to lead rate, which is total email sent divided by total leads, lead to booking rate, which is total leads divided by total calls booked, and close rate, which is calls booked divided by calls closed. Tracking this data will allow you to see where you're hitting your KPIs and give you an idea of where the bottleneck in your system is. Tip number 7 is social proof. So social proof is 80% of the reason why people will trust you enough to make them buy, which is why you need to be showing it off as much as possible. In your initial email and follow-ups, you need to mention well-known clients, testimonials, case studies, and the result you got them in what time frame. The best practices for case studies are anything tangible, which 90% of the time is money made. Try to stay away from calls booked, pipeline value, anything like that. That doesn't actually matter because everyone wants money, right? You also want to mention the name of your client in these emails, because anyone can just say, oh yeah, we helped an e-com brand make $10 million, where it's like anyone could have said that, right? You want to show actual proof and actually back up what you're saying. Most people get hundreds of cold emails per month, so if you want to stand out, you need to have social proof. On top of this, you need to be doing what I like to call non-cold email related gains. So these are things like having an optimized website with a video sales letter at the top of your landing page so that people can trust you more and you're not a scammer. Lots of people copy and paste your secondary domain to their browser, so it's very important that you have an optimized website. Let's say I have a cold email sending account called Mateo at buyconqueredleads.com. If I send a cold email to someone, they will see it's coming from that email, and what they'll do is actually copy the buyconqueredleads.com part and paste it into their browser. If nothing comes up, then that is a huge no-no, because you need to be forwarding all of your secondary domains to your main website. And then let's say once you've done that, if you have a trash website, then no one is gonna book a call with you over cold email, right? It's very important that you have this optimized. If you implemented these 7 tips to your cold email, I guarantee it is going to save you a lot of time and headaches. But if you want to see any success with cold email, you need to know how to build a funnel that converts cold traffic into new paying clients. So go check out this video over here where I go over the best cold email funnel that will help you sign clients for your business on autopilot. Also, if you're a business owner who's looking to book more meetings predictively through outbound marketing, I help B2B businesses book more qualified sales calls on their calendar with our high converting cold email systems. So if you're interested in having me handle and send tens of thousands of cold emails for your business every single month to book more qualified sales calls, book a free call in the first link in the description. If you found this video valuable, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.